Melissa, it's great to see you. Every week it seems like you're competing in a race. Not long ago, you're at the International Cross Country Championships. I believe you're a primary school teacher. You're studying software engineering. You're taking a bit on at the moment.
Yeah, it's always busy, always looking for more things to do, but I love it.
Middle distance runner Melissa Duncan has never shied away from a challenge. But shortly after becoming the Australian 5,000 metre champion in 2019, a stint of training in Tokyo proved to be the greatest obstacle of her career.
It's a really big competition in Japan, the Ekiden running competition. It's basically a marathon from like A to B, and it's comprised of 6 athletes. So it's essentially a relay race. Each team is allowed to have one international athlete to run the 4th leg. And I was recruited from Australia to live, eat, breathe, do everything with the team all year just for this one competition at the end of the year.
What was the training experience like?
Yeah, it was full on. So the Japanese way of life and training is really different from what we know here in Australia. So I'm probably used to running about 120, max 130 Ks a week. Over there, we're training 3 times a day and running anywhere upwards from 150 Ks a week. So the volume was quite a lot, and it was all on concrete as well. So there's quite a lot of damage that's happening to your body.
As if all this wasn't enough of a shock to the system, Melissa soon found her diet getting overhauled as well.
Because of the high volume, I got a bit of a repetitive injury in my hamstring tendon. But instead of sort of taking some time off to heal that, there was more focus on the reason that the reason you've got this injury is because you're too fat. And the way that you're going to heal it is to lose weight and be lighter, because it's less stress on your body when you're running. So from then on, I was on basically rations. So we had a chef that would cook out all our team meals, and I had to bring scales to dinner so that I was only allowed to have 150 grams of rice. And they were watching me.
It's taken several years for Melissa to grasp the impact of these drastic changes. But looking back, it's obvious they triggered a gradual decline in her mental and physical well-being.
I guess there were signs of just everyday, things in my everyday life. I wasn't really thriving. I wasn't really happy. I was never really smiling or laughing or kind of enjoying my life. Second of all, I just didn't have any energy. So that was frustrating. I found myself napping in the afternoons. In addition to that, I lost my menstrual cycle. And at the time, I didn't really think anything other than, oh, this is quite convenient because it's not something that I have to deal with now.
At the time, Melissa shrugged off these symptoms as the result of a demanding new routine and a serious case of homesickness. In fact, they were the early warning signs of a little-known syndrome that has derailed the dreams of countless athletes.
Relative energy deficiency in sport, or REDS that we call it for short, is caused by an underlying low energy availability. And that low energy availability is the result of essentially not eating enough for the exercise that we're doing. And therefore, we don't have enough energy for our normal physiological and essential processes.
Richmond Football Club performance dietitian Dr. Dominic Kondo has witnessed many players battling similar symptoms to those experienced by Melissa.
We do see some signs of it in AFL men's as well, but probably not as common as what we do in the women's. One of the first signs we often see is a loss of menstrual cycle or a dysfunction in menstrual cycles, and that's a really big sign. So we can probably diagnose it and pick it up easier in women than what we do men. Other signs are ones of fatigue, and that's a big part of it. And injury risk increases a lot too. So we often see bone stress injuries. So I've really seen athletes' careers be impacted by this, but also their health and well-being.
I was at a training camp at altitude about 4 weeks before the World Championships in 2019, and I just basically couldn't finish a session. I was in tears on the ground in between my 1K reps, and they were so much slower than what I was supposed to do. I was probably supposed to be running 3 minutes a K, and instead I was struggling to run 3 minutes 30 per K. And that is not the level that I need to be competitive on the world stage. I just thought I was really unfit. And so I guess some of the symptoms do replicate how you would feel when you're unfit. So, I was thinking, okay, well, I just need to run more, and that's going to fix everything. But in fact, it was quite the opposite. I had to run less, eat more, which was not what I would expect the ideal preparation for a World Championship event to be.
It's great to see you looking so healthy, Melissa, and well, and back to your best. You tell us about your recovery from what you went through.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something that happened overnight. It definitely took me months to get back to feeling my best and, you know, getting my menstrual cycle back and stuff. But it was certainly a matter of when I started like eating more and looking after my body more, I did start to notice that I could fit more into each day almost immediately.
We can all take lessons away from what we know about RED. So yes, we see REDs more commonly in athletes, but I work with a lot of recreational athletes, people that enjoy running, people that are very active and often under fuel for what they're doing. Traditionally, there's a thought around what an athlete should look like, what an optimal physique should be. However, what we really know is that there's actually quite a range of someone's optimal physique. So yes, you know, we know that athletes might perform better at a certain physique, but exactly what that is and how that changes between one athlete to another is what we're not entirely sure of.
It's only affected my performance for quite some time, and I think that that's what cost me the Tokyo Olympics in the end, because I was just not running my best like I had been up until that point. And I think it took me a long time to sort of get back on track, but it's not impossible. And I'm still not quite back at the level on the track, but I wouldn't write it off for my future.